Hello, my name is Beatriz Gomez. I'm from Spain. I was an exchange student with Green Heart 27 years ago, I think. I did my senior year in Virginia. And right now I own a company dedicated to student exchanges. It's called CCI, Centro Cultural de Idiomas in Spanish. And I have been working with cultural exchange ever since I finished my college. So that's what I've done for my life, and I love it. And this is Paula, my daughter, and she's going to introduce herself.
Yes. Hi, I'm Paula Lorente. I'm Beatriz's daughter, and I also did an exchange year 2 years ago for my sophomore year. And today I'm going to talk to you about how it has impacted my life since I went there and while I was there.
I always wanted to do an exchange in the United States. I convinced my dad, and my dad and I convinced my mom. So I finally managed to do this. I was really excited. The thing is that when I studied in the States, there was no email or even fax, I don't know. So I had no photos of my family because those arrived by mail, by regular post mail, after I had already arrived to the States. So I never saw my family. I didn't know what they looked like or anything. So it was my first time on a plane. It was my first time abroad. I had never been outside of Spain before. So I was really nervous during my trip to the States. When I got to the airport, nobody was there waiting for me. And of course, I had my coordinator's phone number, but I didn't have any coins for the phone booth. There were no cell phones, of course. So I didn't know what to do. Luckily, there was a Spanish guy on my plane who he probably saw my scary face, and he gave me some coins so I could make a phone call. And I managed to find out that my family was at another airport in Washington, D.C., because there are two airports there. So they were at the other airport, so I had to wait for them. So it was kind of a rough start of the program. And finally, we got in the car and they were talking to me. I didn't understand a word of what they were saying. I thought my level of English was pretty good for school here in Spain, but it was not enough for the States. So anyway, it was kind of a rough start, but it was funny. The school start was also kind of difficult because I couldn't find my classes. I didn't know what I was doing. The teachers would give me homework. I didn't understand what they were saying, but it took a while to get settled, but my host family was just perfect, and they were great, and they really helped me a lot. And so that, little by little, I got used to all the daily life, and that got better. And it was the best experience of my life. So it really changed my life after that.
Okay, my turn. So my experience from the start was quite different from my mom's. I obviously knew what my host family looked like because nowadays it's really easy to send a picture of yourself. And I definitely had a cell phone. I had their contact number and I could just talk to them all the time. So that was easier. But it was the first time that I was traveling alone. So I was nervous that something might happen and I didn't know what to do. But it was quite easy for me. The only thing that happened was that I had to take two planes, big plane to Philadelphia and then a smaller plane to Portland. And the thing was that my second plane kept getting delayed. So I just kept sending text messages to my host mom and telling her like every 2 hours the plane was getting delayed for like another hour. So I just wanted to make sure that they weren't going to have to wait for me for 4 hours at the airport. So I kept texting her like, so now it says that it's going to arrive at, 10 at night, 10 p.m. But the thing is that here in Spain, we use military time, I think that's what you call them. And so I kept texting her like, my plane will arrive at 22. or my plane will arrive at 23:30. And she just kept replying like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Like, we'll wait for you. Just let us know when you get on the plane. So I thought, okay. And I just kept texting her until my plane arrived. And then I got to the airport. And after, like, she didn't tell me right at the time, but after a few days, she told me, and she was like, no, I never told you, but I didn't really understand what you were saying. But it was so different. And she didn't even know what I was talking about, but she just kept saying, yeah, sure. And just let me know when you get there and I'll just come pick you up. So that was kind of funny. That's like the first thing that happened to me that really shocked me in the sense of the cultural differences. I just thought it was so normal to tell the time like that. And it was quite funny. I had it easier because I had a host sister my age. So we were in the same grade in school. So it was really easy because before starting school, I got to meet a lot of her friends. And so she introduced me to a lot of people with whom I had class afterwards. So then when I went to school the first day, I had some classes and I arrived to some of them and I already knew some people there. So that was really great too. So I could sit with them. So, and then in the other ones that I didn't, I just sat with someone that looked friendly and I just started talking to them. And it was really easy because they're like really interested in your life because they don't know you at all and it's so different. So that was easier. But yeah, that was like the first funny anecdote that I can tell from cultural exchange.
Also, your level of English was much better
and my
than
level.
mine when you traveled there.
Yeah, that was, yeah, I had that. I had that in favor.
They come a different person. I mean, when the kids leave Spain and they are so usually so overprotected here by their parents, and when they come after 10 months of living on their own with a host family, but without their natural parents, they come here and they are a different person. I mean, I remember Paula called me one day and she told me, oh, by the way, mom, I didn't tell you, but I had to go to the doctor, nothing serious, but so I called the insurance company and I went to the doctor and her host mom took her to the doctor and she had to pay for the visit. And she knew that the insurance should cover that visit. So she called insurance, she sent them the bills, she got the money back, and I just learned about all this a month after this has happened. And when she was here, she would have never done that on her own. I mean, she would just tell me, Mom, I have this itch here and please take me to the doctor. But she was there, she managed to do everything on her own. And that's something that the students really gain during their stay abroad. Parents usually send their kids abroad because they want them to learn a new language, but that's secondary. I mean, that is something that they're going to have for sure. They're going to learn the language for sure. But what I think is most valuable is how mature they're going to get during their stay there, and self-confident, and that I think that's the most important thing that we're giving our children when we send them abroad. I'm actually sending my second child now in August to the States. So.
Yeah, you definitely gain like a lot of independence in that sense. What she said, like I did so many things on my own with my host family's help, of course, but on my own that I would have never done here because you just have your parents and they take care of everything for you. But it just, it gives you like a lot of independence and you learn many things. I had many experiences like that one where I had to do something on my own that I would have never done here, for example. But it's definitely really weird because you're really young and it's, for example, my brother's going next year and he seems so young and like so innocent to be living on his own with a host family for like a whole year. But I think it's a really good experience and you come a completely different person and way more mature, definitely.
it was such a great experience for me that it's something I've always wanted for my kids. And luckily, my husband was agreed. Both of us were convinced from the beginning that our kids should do this. So if we could. So it's something they know they were going to do. And I have 3 children, Paula, who already traveled, Diego, who is going to travel to the States in August, if everything goes well, and then Ruben, who will do it the following year. So they already know. I mean, it's something that they have assumed that it's part of their education, and that's something they're happy with, I think. So.
Yeah, for me, it was a given that I was going to go there since I was really, really young. But it doesn't mean that I wasn't excited, because I was really excited, because my mom will tell me all these stories, and then also my aunts, they went there too. So I just had like a lot of people telling me how exciting it was and how much fun I was going to have. And it definitely lived up to the expectations, we could say. And it was a great experience. When I came back, I understood many, many more things. And when people talk about cultural differences, or when they talk about some things that might not be done the same way in both of the countries, it's really way easier for me to have that kind of open mind to a different perspective, a different view, a different way of doing things, because I have had those experiences. And I find that people my age that haven't had these experiences, they might find it harder to, like, open their minds and understand these new things.
But not only with cultural difference, I think. I think, I don't know if you agree, but this experience makes you more open-minded, not only with people from different cultures, but in general, with people with other ways of thinking. Don't you agree with that?
Yeah. It helps you to broaden your perspective, gives you a better understanding of yourself too. It gives you like a chance to go and think about what you have done in your life and what you can, bring to these colleges. And it's a really great experience for you to also get to know yourself better. I think it helps in that way.
We hear all the time, we hear at the office, we hear stories that the parents tell us, and how their kids have changed, and how maybe they weren't such great students, but they found something in the States that triggered that something they had hidden in the back of their brains, and all of a sudden they know what they want to do for the rest of their lives. Or even for older students, when they met someone, and we've even had a couple of marriages with after the years have passed, with not for high school students, but for college students that we also send abroad. And I don't know, it changes the lives of the kids in one way or another, and 98% of the times it's for the better. There are also a few kids that they just cannot take the stress that it involves, because you need to be a certain type of person to be able to cope with all the stress situations that you put through. And a few students, they don't have a good experience, but that's just like once in a while. Most of the cases that we have, they're just success stories, and usually the parents tell you, they thank you, and the relationships that they create with their host families last forever. But we know that they are success stories, and you're changing people's lives. So yeah, I found through exchange, I found a way of living that I love.
Getting to know yourself better was like a really huge part of my exchange experience for me, because even if you don't really realize at the moment, subconsciously you're like analyzing yourself all the time. When you meet new people and they start asking you questions, you have to quickly dig up all the memories and like everything about yourself that you can show them that you want to get them to know you that way. And it's really a way to think about yourself that you wouldn't have done if you were here, because most of the time here, even if you meet new people, it still isn't the same, because we're still, all of us are from Spain, all of us are from Madrid, we still have like the same education system and all of those kind of things, that when you go to another country, it's completely different. So people will ask you questions all the time about yourself, about your home country. And I did realize a few times that they sometimes ask you questions that you might have never thought before, because no one had asked you those questions before. So some things about your culture, some things about your the way of living here with your family, the way of your lifestyle and everything. And it's a really great experience to get to think about all of those things. And I can tell you, when you come back, it's really funny, because you like never realized it before while you were here, but there are so many things that are different between cultures, and it's really interesting to get to find out what those are and compare them all the time. And another thing, I think it gives you like a really great new point of view to compare many things, because I realize now many things that are wrong with our education system or right with our education system, or with the way that we do things at home, or with in our social lives here. And it gives you like a chance to reflect upon the way that you do those things, and maybe think like, this would be better if we did this like they do in the States, or this is better like we do it here than they do there. But it just, you can compare, and that gives you like a lot of maturity, and you feel like wiser when you think about those things, because you can, like, you have so many new experiences that you can use to get better and do things better in your life. And I think that's like a really huge part of this, apart from the social side of like getting to meet many people and the language, obviously. But that reflection of yourself, it's really, really important. At least it was for me, and I think it's for most people that do these kinds of programs.
Yeah. I wanted to know what things you find, from what I've told you of my experience, what things you found different and similar. Like, for example, our families were very different. Like, I had younger siblings, very, very young, 4 and 7, and yours weren't like that. So.
Yeah, my siblings were older, both. Well, I had 3 siblings, and 2 of them were older. They were 23 and 21. So they were already in college and they weren't living with us. And then the other, my host sister, was my age. So I think that makes a huge difference with your experience and my experience, because having a sister my age, it really, I think it helped a lot in school with like the social part of school, with making friends and everything.
For me, the first days in school weren't very easy. They were actually quite hard, because I didn't know anybody. I didn't know the school. I didn't know where I had to go. So I had to find my own way. And it was hard to make friends at first. And after a few months, I finally got to make some good friends. And the experience was also very good, but that's definitely very different from your experience.
And I think also a huge difference is, technology, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I went there, I had, it was like 2 years ago, so I obviously had a phone and everything, so I could talk to you guys back home every day. I didn't really talk every day, or maybe even every week, but I tried. So, but I think like whenever I had to, I could just send a text or even call you guys.
Right. I talked to my parents once every 2 or 3 weeks on the phone. And there were very short conversations because it was long distance calls, very expensive. So I wrote letters, and I wrote letters, handwritten letters that you send on the mail. And I wrote letters for them, and I would send them photos that had of things that had happened like a month or a month and a half before they received the photos. So that was definitely very different. I had a lot to tell them when I came back, which we already knew from your experience.
Yeah. I mean, I still have many things to tell you, but
I know.
No, yeah, but it was so different. But I think like the overall experience was kind of the same, like with school and just the experience of being in the host family and everything. So true. I think that was similar.
Yeah, I've been dealing with exchange students for the past 27 years, and there are many differences, but basically the experience, the heart of the experience is always the same. It's just having, meeting somebody different, living with a different family, learning a new culture, adapting to a new family, new ways of doing things, and of course, learning a new language and different school, and definitely learning a lot from that. So yeah.
One thing that I would definitely recommend to someone who's thinking about doing an exchange, don't hold back on buying things and doing new things, because you'll remember those things later on and you'll be happy that you did them.
Yeah, that's true. As a mom, I think I would advise my children, and I think I tried to, but it really didn't get through that much. No, seriously, to just try any activity or any club that they can, or sport, or just join anything that it's being offered to them, anything good that is being offered to them. You probably learn something from it. And that is something I actually regret from my stay in the States. I didn't do as many activities as I could have done. And that's probably something I should have done better. I think the best recommendation I can give to parents is to, once you have decided that you want your kid to be part of this adventure, is to really let your kid go and live their own life during this 3, 6, 10 months, whatever the length of the stay that they're going to live. Let them have their own experience. Try not to be on top of them every day. You don't really need to know what they're doing every hour of the day, because you're not letting them live their own experience. And the whole idea is to have them become more independent and live their own life. And if they're always thinking that they have to tell you what they did, they're not really living their own experience. So once you decide to organize your high school experience with an organization such as Green Heart or CCI, and you decide it's a good one, we are taking care of them. If anything happens, you're gonna be the first one to know, and we're gonna be taking care of your kid. And you really need to let them live their own life for this period of time, because that's the whole point of the high school experience.
Let them do their life and let them make their decisions, and then they'll let you know. It's not like we don't want to talk to our parents, but just from
also
time to
we
time.
had to come to the first queue once with the homecoming dress, but that's another story.
I don't know.
This was like, I don't know, when was homecoming? You were there for like 1 month or a month.
It was
at the beginning,
like October or something.
Yeah, and she was doing great. I mean, she was having the best experience. He didn't have any cultural shock or anything.
I had been on like vacation with my host family, and I was having like the greatest time ever.
And then homecoming, and Paula realized she didn't have a dress, and she was all worried that she couldn't go.
Yeah, I like never, in Spain we don't have school dances, so I had never been to a school dance before, and I had just been there for a month, and I didn't have any dresses. I didn't bring any dresses with me, and I just like picked an outfit, and my host sister saw it and she was like, that's not formal enough or something. And I got so stressed. I don't even know why. I got really stressed because I didn't have a dress, and it was like in a week or something, and yeah.
And they couldn't take you shopping. And so she called crying. It was the first time, and the only one, I think. So it was, we have Amazon, so we just looked on the Amazon website and found a dress and sent it, and
a great dress.
Everything was solved, and incoming was great.
Yeah, no, I had like a great time. So
yeah.